Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is The Trouble with Bubbles, and this is my very first vlog. Now, I don't know a lot about what I'm supposed to say here, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself and maybe about what I hope the channel, or what I intend to do with the channel. My name is Bubbles, but that's not my real name. My real name is Max, and I originally am from Michigan, and I'm currently living in LA, working in the film industry for a small production company some of you might have heard of. It's called The Asylum, and we make B movies, lots of horror movies, really crappy stuff. But our current claim to fame is the Sharknado franchise, as well as our TV show Z Nation on Sci-Fi. Now, I've been a part of this company for almost 3 years now, I believe, and I was a major player on Sharknado 4 when it came to mechanical effects like wind and fog, and I've done a lot of shows in the last 3 years, a lot of films. I've done probably 15, maybe more than that even. And I've worked in production, I've worked as a PA, I've worked in the art, I mostly work in the art department as a prop master, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, I get to handle everything that all the actors touch, and so it's really rewarding, and I enjoy it a lot. I've also worked in the camera department as the DIT, the Digital Imaging Technician, which sounds all fancy, but all you do, well, not at our level, all you do is you take the card and you pull the footage off and you put it on a drive, and that's basically it. So you're paid to just kind of sit around and do nothing. But that's where I am now. I didn't plan that when I was in a year or two after I graduated high school. I didn't have a plan for myself. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had kind of been going to community college. My family owned a golf course at the time, and I pictured myself working there forever. And so I have an uncle in California, big shot movie producer, who's like, come on out, see if you like it. We'll put you to work and we'll see what happens. And that was January 2014. I think. Yeah, January 2014, and here we are, almost April 1st of 2017. I've worked on so many films. It's been great, and it's so much more than I would have accomplished staying in Michigan. Not that I don't love Michigan, but being here and doing this is something to pass the time for the next couple of years, hopefully. And then I'll move on to something else. I don't know. Before this, I was working at the golf course. My family bought a golf course in 2008, and so all through my high school career, I had a steady job. It was great. I've played video games most of my life, kind of segueing without a segue. But I've played video games most of my life. My older brothers had an NES when I was little, and we always played Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers, and we had like an Olympics game, and it was really cool. And I think the first thing that I ever got was the Game Boy Color. Maybe we had one of the regular Game Boys, the big blocky ones, not the Pocket, but the big blocky one. And I pretty much started playing Pokemon, and that was the majority of my gaming in my young childhood. When I was in middle school, I think 4th or 5th grade, my little brother and I pooled together $130 to go to GameStop and buy a used PlayStation 2, which I still have and will be using to play games on the channel. But we bought that. We bought a handful of games like SSX Tricky and Tony Hawk's Underground, and a bunch of games that really I had played at my friend's house and had really wanted to play on my own. So we went, and that was the next step in my life of gaming. My cousins had an SNES, I believe, and so I would get to play some games there. I would go to other people's houses who had games. I remember playing Donkey Kong Country. I would play Star Wars at my cousins. My grandmother had a PlayStation 1 with Star Wars and a game called Alondra 2, which is pretty rare nowadays, but she never had a memory card. So every time we played, it was the same section over and over again until we got so far that we couldn't play anymore. So I didn't really get into the gaming centuries. I kept going with handheld. I got DSs, and I eventually got a 3DS and got all the Pokemon games as they went. But I really didn't get a PlayStation 3 until it had to have been 2012. I mean, it was a huge gap between PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3. And I got a handful of games for it, and the next Christmas we got an Xbox 360. And so my brother and I had a setup in my room in the basement where we had two TVs, one on top of each other, and he would plug the Xbox into that one and play while I played on the PlayStation in the other one. So that was cool. And I remember right before I left for California, we were doing that, and he was playing on the PlayStation, I was playing on the Xbox, and for some reason the fire alarm was going off in our house, and we were downstairs in the basement with the door closed. We couldn't hear anything, and my little brother's playing Gran Turismo 5, and he's in the middle of a giant race series, and my mom comes running down the stairs, and she's like, "Don't you hear the fire alarm? Why aren't you helping me turn it off?" And she runs back in and flips the switch on the fuse box, knocking out all the power to the entire house. My little brother was livid because he had just spent 40 minutes doing races that none of them had saved because, well, they were the middle of a big tournament. Last year, well, I guess 2015, Black Friday, I bought a 50-inch TV and a PlayStation 4. I finally took the jump, and I've got it, and I grabbed the Star Wars Battlefront bundle. That's what it was, because my older brothers and I used to play, and my younger brother, we used to play Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 religiously. Like, my oldest brother, who had long since moved out, still had a file that he would always come back to on our memory card playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 on PlayStation 2. Since then, I mean, in between like 2013 and now, I have acquired many video game systems. I got in a position a few years back when I was still in... Let's do the math. So when I came out to California, I moved into a condo that my uncle owned, and I didn't pay rent for a few months, and then I started paying a ridiculous amount of rent, but I was living in a one-bedroom apartment, so I was okay for a while. Then I had a friend who had a room in a house that was less than a mile from my work, and it was $600. So I'm like, great, I'm gonna move in here, make bank, and be able to finally buy all the things I've always wanted. And that's exactly what I did. In that time, I lived in an 8-foot by 10-foot bedroom with 2 doors. So really it was like 6 foot by 8. And I had my little twin bed, my lazy chair, my dresser with my TV on top, and my mini fridge. And then all the closet space and all the shelf space were covered in video game systems. SNES, NES, N64, GameCube, PlayStation 1, 2, 3. I never got the 4 before I moved out of there. So yeah. And then I think I probably had an Xbox and an Xbox 360. I don't know. It's hard to remember. But since then, I have also acquired an Atari 2600, Sega Dreamcast, which I got both this Christmas while I was back in Michigan. New thrift shop opened up in the town I was from, and I was surprised to find it was a haven for video games. It's just full, and I can't wait to go back there the next time I visit. I also have a Sega Genesis as well, and I'm trying to think. I have special edition Pokemon N64 and Pokemon GameCube. Well, we're not going to talk a lot about that because I'm already running pretty far into this vlog. I'm going to pare it down to like 10 minutes. I don't know. But I'm going to do like a collector's set of vlogs because I think I have some pretty cool stuff and I really want to share that with you guys. But I think I'll end this with a story about how I got my nickname. So I was working on a film called Fortune Cookie. You can find it on Amazon. That's my plug. But we were shooting a bathtub scene. The woman's laying in the bathtub, and for some reason, the ceiling collapses on top of her. But we're shooting downtown LA in this big abandoned building called the Herald, where the newspaper used to be produced. And there was no running water. So we took 5-gallon buckets, bubble mix, a little bit of water, and a power drill. And we took one of those long paint stirrers that you get for like a 10-gallon bucket or 5-gallon bucket. I'm sorry, 5-gallon bucket. They're like, it's round, and you use it to agitate the paint in such a large container. And I stuck that on the drill, and I dipped it in the 5-gallon bucket of water, and I made a whole bunch of bubbles, poured them into the tub, and did it over and over again for like 3 hours. And every in between takes, I would have to go in there with the drill and just put it right in the tub and just agitate the bubbles, get them going again. And so one of my friends who was PAing on that job started calling me Bubbles, and so all the rest of the crew did it. And the very next show, I worked with a director friend of mine who loved the nickname, and he insisted that everyone called me Bubbles. And from then on, that was summer of 2015, from then on, I have been Bubbles. And it's come with me through like 4 different producers and 10 different shows. And it's not a bad nickname. I mean, there are worse nicknames out there, but so that's a little bit more about me. I'm not sure about these vlogs. I mean, I know Trouble wants me to do them, but I don't know exactly how they're gonna turn out or how people are gonna respond to them. But if you like it, please let me know. I'll keep doing them. I mean, I have a lot of stuff to talk about. You can kind of see in the background a little bit of my shelf that I'm setting up with all my collectibles on it, and we'll definitely do some closer looks at that because I really want to show it off. Because I mean, I don't have people over very often, so I have all this stuff out on display for me, but also for you. But thank you guys so much for watching. Wait, I almost forgot. This is my 150th video. My 3-month YouTube anniversary, or the channel's 3-month YouTube anniversary is on April 7th. And that was my goal date to get 150 videos. And we're already there here on the eve of April Fools. A whole week before the 3-month anniversary. But I've got some really cool stuff in store coming at the end of next week. I started the Kingdom Hearts playthrough last night with that 3-hour live stream. Thank you anyone who came out to watch. And I'll definitely be doing more episodes of that game in the coming weeks. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is The Trouble with Bubbles, and I hope to see you in the next video.